I'm neither short nor long Bitcoin right now, but honestly, I did put out a short last night above 50,000 in case it would trigger. It did not trigger. Until the daily closes above that, that is not negated. What we're seeing in crypto right now is essentially a liquidity pump. So you have massive amounts. And again, this is so weird for people to understand, but if you look at M2 money supply is now starting to slightly incline, which again is more liquidity in the system. It creates risk on. You also have credit card debt, all these other debt forms that aren't included in M2 money supply. They're continuing to pop up, and that's creating a scenario where, again, it's risk on in the stock market, and that's now carrying into crypto in this latest move.
Wait a minute, everyone. Get ready for the ultimate crypto investing website, the Bitcoin Seller. It's your golden ticket to an exclusive insiders club. Expert predictions, on-chain data, and breaking news, all for you. Imagine all crypto insights landing in your inbox daily, like having your own expert team. Don't miss this VIP opportunity. Click the link and secure your spot. Join now and ride the crypto roller coaster with the Bitcoin Seller. In this video, Gareth will share his insights on how did Bitcoin face resistance at $50,000, and what do topping tail candles indicate for its future? How did Ethereum reach a critical $2,500 resistance, and what's needed for new highs? Why does Celestia, a new cryptocurrency, showing weakness, prompting short positions? Why is gold on the brink of a short-term breakdown, with identified support and targets? Let's join Gareth in this interview about these topics and more.
So right into the action here. Here's your Bitcoin chart. We've seen Bitcoin have this beautiful move up, right basically back to what we would consider to be a double top, all right? So again, let's take a look right here as we go through and look at the technical level. So first off, as a technician, and right, you have to understand, so I'm neither short nor long Bitcoin right now, but honestly, I did put out a short last night above 50,000 in case it would trigger. It did not trigger. But I just want to give you guys a heads up that you still have to respect this candle right here. That's a topping tail candle. Until the daily closes above that, that is not negated. That is the dominant force in the charts. So even with this great move up, technically speaking, this is still the dominant force in the chart. All right, now, again, one of the things to keep in mind here is that even with that, you still have to flip over to your weekly chart. And so you have a daily topping tail, but you also have a weekly topping tail. So again, this now becomes a key thing to look at on the weekly, which is basically that as long as you don't get a weekly close above that, that then is the dominant force as well on the weekly. So for me, when you talk about, okay, well, why did Gareth put out a short potentially above 50,000? And by the way, as price changes, if we consolidate here, then I'll cancel that out. Right now, I still have it live in the market. But again, if it does, if it kind of stays here for a couple days, I'll probably cancel it. But the idea being is that you have to look at the weekly close, which isn't until obviously basically a week from now, to see if that's negated. All right, so I'll be watching that very closely. I'm a firm believer that what we're seeing in crypto right now is essentially a liquidity pump. So you have massive amounts. And again, this is so weird for people to understand, but if you look at M2 money supply is now starting to slightly incline, which again is more liquidity in the system. It creates risk on. You also have credit card debt, all these other debt forms that aren't included in M2 money supply. They're continuing to pop up, and that's creating a scenario where, again, it's risk on in the stock market, and that's now carrying into crypto in this latest move.
BTC bulls retreat from near $49,000 peak. Bitcoin displays a robust upward momentum across several charts, underscored by its sharp ascent from $47,593 to $48,814 on Sunday. On the subsequent Monday, Bitcoin's market value reached $939 billion, with a trading volume of $21.57 billion for the day. Currently, the upward trend pauses, with the price tipping below the $48,000 mark in Monday's early trading hours.
Ethereum, we talked about this level last week right here. Again, bubbled right up above that level. It's pulling back a little bit. If we can really establish ourselves above this 2,500, you have an upside to about 27 and change. But right now, it's struggling right at that technical level.
With its price positioned at $2,485, Ethereum's daily fluctuations have ranged from $2,309 to $2,541, highlighting a market that is both dynamic and erratic. The current market capitalization of Ether is approximately $299.25 billion, and in the last 24 hours, Ethereum has seen a global trading volume of $6.91 billion. Following a peak in the $2,541 range, other bulls are taking a breather from their recent efforts to breach the previous day's resistance.
One chart I want to show you guys is this one. I am short this one, TIA, which is, I think, Celestia. The idea here is it's an upsloping trend line. I'm expecting a trend line break here. And look at the quad negative divergence here. Lower, lower, lower. So high, higher, high, higher, high, higher, high, low, high, lower, high, lower, high, lower, high. That's telling you there's distribution going on there. So just be aware on this Celestia. If it breaks this line right here, that's going to be trouble right there. All right.
Celestia TIA is a cryptocurrency that aims to provide a scalable and secure platform for decentralized applications and data storage. Celestia uses a novel consensus mechanism called Ledger, which separates the consensus layer from the execution layer. Celestia TIA has recently launched its mainnet and token sale, which raised over $10 million from investors. Celestia claims to offer lower fees, faster transactions, and higher throughput than other blockchain platforms.
Couple other charts to go over. I do want to touch on gold, although there's not a whole lot going on here. We have a little downtick in gold today. There is a potential short-term breakdown on gold going on. If this does break, you're looking at 1975 as your target zone right there, that pivot low on the chart on gold.
Gold has maintained its long-term appeal as a hedge against inflation and currency debasement, especially in the wake of the massive fiscal and monetary stimulus unleashed by the governments and central banks around the world. Gold has also benefited from the demand from emerging markets and central banks.
Now, the morning blast here, we have a couple key things that I want to talk about. Number one, the S&P 500, we know on Friday, it closed above the $5,000 level or 5,000 point level. All right, the key is it's trying to build on that momentum. Generally, when you pierce even numbers, you get a certain amount of time where there can be a reversal. In other words, can you actually have a fake out of a breakout, or is it a real breakout? And the key to that is looking and seeing how long it's able to maintain that $5,000 level. So if it maintains it generally for 3 to 5 days, that would be very bullish, meaning it's consolidating above such a key level. All right, so again, that's what I'm looking for this week. Now, we do have some big economic data this week. We've got to understand, we got CPI, we got PPI, we have other economic metrics, including Federal Reserve speeches throughout the course of the week that could throw a wrench in the plans for the market to continue to go higher. Are we overbought? Yes. Is the breadth weakening? Yes. We're going to cover a lot of these type of things. In fact, just in this next statement right here. Now, this is a very important one for me, guys. So if we just take a look at this, it says the rally has narrow support despite the numbers. 39% of the S&P 500 companies are below their 50 moving average. All right, so think about that. You have a market that's at all-time highs, but just under 50% of the companies in the S&P are not only down, but basically below their 50 moving average. All right, so again, that's really, really important to understand here. Number two, at the beginning of the year, 91% were above their 50 moving average. So what does that mean? It tells us basically that the breadth is becoming narrower and narrower in the markets. All right. In other words, there are a few stocks, namely semiconductors, namely Microsoft, and a few of the other magnificent 6 or 7 that are leading the stock market higher. But this is something as a technician that you pay really close attention to, because it's telling you that, again, the market internals are breaking down and we have to be ready for a reversal. Once these Mag 7 or even 6, if you want to exclude Tesla, once they stop leading the market, this market will have a corrective move. Now, how big of a corrective move? That's up in the air, right? I mean, we don't really know. Is it going to be a small correction of 5 to 10%? Is it going to be something bigger? We'll have to watch and see. But this, again, is epic.
If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.